the touchdown drum?
I think they've been waiting on that one. I didn't know anything about it. You know, it's kind of, you got to generate some excitement and things like that. And the defense kind of came up with one, and so they've got a kind of a dunk tank, and so you just kind of figured it happened for a couple days, and the offensive guys are starting to get mad and upset a little bit, and then obviously they get a little creative themselves and come up with something. So anything we can do to promote energy and excitement and things like that, I'm good with.
Assist to the band for providing.
Yeah, I haven't even asked where it exactly came from, but I said as long as it's going to stick around, I don't want to be a one-hit wonder. You know, if we're going to have it, let's have it, and I'm not sure we want to carry that thing onto the sideline of some sorts, but it's all in good fun, let's just say that.
I just talked to Cole Smith, obviously a candidate to be the man after a gray shirt year. Tell me a little bit about him.
No, he's done a great job. You know, we brought him into camp last year. He was here in the summer with some things, and then we ended up gray shirting him because of the situation we had, and wanted to just distance himself, and not knowing we thought we had two guys that that obviously were very adequate and were going to be good kickers for us. And so he was, really he made a sacrifice for himself, but also for us and the team. And now brought him in, and I think he's really shown a lot. I mean, you can just stand there and watch, and there's a different pop off of his foot when that ball comes off. And we got to find some ways to get him in some of those tighter situations and create some pressure, which we'll do here throughout the spring, and then continue to battle with him and let him compete.
Do inexperienced kickers worry the heck out of coaches?
If you watched our kicking a little bit last year, I think we kind of worried you then too. So inexperience in really any position, and we could have a bit of it, but nonetheless, I think if we can find those situations and put guys into it, show the confidence that we have in them, I feel good about what they can do.
Coming off of spring break, what was your impression of how these guys bounced back and got back into the flow of things today?
First thing was I was impressed. We brought them in on Sunday, just to kind of flush their bodies, get them something to eat, have an opportunity to watch the game together a little bit. But really to get them back, to make sure their minds are here, they're not racing back here because we can't give a day away. To start a practice, I thought we were a little bit behind, to be honest with you. That routine that you get into, I know it was only 1 week, but that routine that you get into of being out here for a good amount of time, and the first 30 minutes is really just kind of teaching on the field. It takes a lot of focus, it takes a lot of energy to do it, and I don't think that we came out kind of in the right frame of mind there. But once we started competing and playing, I thought we obviously had picked up well, and I think we finished well.
Wilson Huber, a redshirt freshman, a guy that looks like he's put on good weight and can be an inline guy and a guy that makes some plays in space. Can you just talk about his growth and development?
I think he's got a bright future, and I really do that. I do think that. I mean, the guy is really smart. He's come a ways, obviously, in size-wise and some things, but I think he's just one of those guys that you're really looking for, those guys that got that high, care factor, that upper level commitment level and things that they're willing to do. And he's one of those guys, if you went in my office and you see there's a board that says guys that play hard, and guys that play hard are those guys that we talk about that go 4 to 6, A to B all the time. He's the youngest guy listed on there, just from what I saw from him last year and the competitive nature he showed being a scout team guy, what he's shown through the winter, and then what he showed in the first couple of days of practice. And if you've got those kind of makeups, I think he's got a bright future.
I'd like to get your thoughts on the two youngest quarterbacks, starting with Desmond Ritter, and how he's doing, what he's shown you.
Well, Des has shown us a lot. I think Des really started to show a lot more about 3/4, halfway through the season last year. And it wasn't just because he was a scout team guy, but you kind of players start taking notice. Players start talking about him. We stick around for young guys, and you get the guys back there that are talking about him and whispering and things like that. And that's when you start to see, okay, because there's some unique things about a quarterback. Well, how well does he throw, and how well does he run? No, what do his teammates think of him? All those things that take a guy from good to great. And I've seen that from him. How he works in the winter. He was elected kind of one of those captains of one of those teams that we appointed this year because they do the things the right way. And I think that he's got some of those intangible things that give him a great opportunity to play.
And then Brian.
Then I think the first 2 days it was, we had some OTAs where it was, just kind of teaching and no ball, but the things we're allowed to do. And, he looked kind of smooth. And I think that first 2 days, even with no pads, it was, things happened a little bit faster. The competitive nature raised a little bit more, and I think his eyes got a little big. But even by the third day, you saw him calm down and really start spinning the ball like he can. So I think it is tough on a young kid. Obviously picking up an offense and doing some things, and as much as that we put on the quarterback. Nowadays, there's a lot of reads. It's not just the old progression, hand the ball off and read your progression. There's a lot of pre-snap, there's a lot of post-snap things. But I got a great confidence because he's a very intelligent kid. He cares an incredible amount. He works at the game a lot. And just in 4 days, you can see the growth that he's already had.